All right, hey folks, I'm going to explain the dice mechanics again, just because I love to, and I use this. So, this is a character sheet. You got your 6 traits. This is very much like Dungeons and Dragons, OSRs, where you have 6 traits, and any skill roll you want to do, and any D20, you use a D20 plus the trait for any skill. If you want to climb a wall, you can use your prowess, or your awareness, D20 +4 or a +2. Right, and the GM decides the difficulty. 12 being the default. I can make it 14, 16, whatever, and I can go. You can change the numbers based on what the GM decides, and he can roll it as well. But simplistically saying, let's just say default 12, and the basic wall. So you roll a D20 plus your 4. That's it, and that's the game in a sense. That's all you have to do. I also have something called die ranks, but these traits, just so you know, will align to every skill that you use, or combat or maneuver. Maneuvers and combats obviously is prowess and awareness. For technical stuff and like thievery, but also contraptions and it's savvy or repairs, simple technology, the basic stuff like maintenance and repair. Spirit obviously is for courage. It's for faith points, for blessings. That's what you use there. Intellect is clues and searching. Searching can be aware as well, but also it could be intellect. If you're in a library, if you're searching, whatever, those kind of intellect stuff, and crafting, building stuff, all that. Society is for persuasion, talking. If you're preaching, you use spirit as your bonus. But if you're trying to persuade someone or do trades or even like acting and performance and speeches, it's to society. So you get your D20 plus your trait on whatever you're trying to do, trying to convince someone, trying to climb a wall, whatever. You just add these. Okay, that's the basic game right there as far as rolling dice. 12 being the default. The GM could just say 12 whenever he wants. He can go to 14, 16, 17, whatever the number he feels. There's other ways of determining difficulty, but that's the basics. Okay, now we have die ranks. What is die ranks? Die ranks is now, down here you can see all these die ranks. One die rank, sorry, you can't see it. One die rank, he's got hunting, 2 die ranks. Guarding, 1 die rank. Climbing. Now, the climbing, obviously you add your prowess or awareness. Guarding, he'll probably add awareness here. Hunting, he could do awareness, I would say. Intimidation is, he could do prowess or society. I tend to allow different traits, convince me of, and I allow based on that trait. Reading Latin would obviously be intellect. What is the die rank now? It's very simple, but it took me a while to figure this out. It's just you're just using all the dice. If it's 1 die rank, it's a D4. If it's 2 die ranks, it's a D6. If it's 3 die ranks, you get a D8. So you get your D20 plus your trait and your die ranks, and the die ranks is a D4, or it's always 1 die, right? D4 or the D6 or the D8 or the D10 or the D12. Okay, so that's the 5 die ranks. And you can cap it there if you want, just to keep the game simple for kids and stuff like that. Younger kids or new players. Just cap it at 5 die ranks. Now, these die ranks are all combined. You could get it from the skills here, or you could get it from like being blessed or using your inspired die. If you have inspired die, which is something he's got 3 here, something you can accrue through, whatever, prayer, bonuses. If you get inspired die, you can add those to your die ranks. And if you went for a simple game, you could just cap it at 5 die ranks, right? So if they get 2 from their skill, 2 from their inspired die, and they got 1 from a blessing, they got 5 die ranks. That's the maximum. First for the starter game. So 5 die ranks is the maximum of all combined die ranks. Why do I do that? Because I wanted there to be this nice broader range of rolls than just a constant number. Like instead of him having a +4 here and then a +5 for skill, blessing, so that's +9. It's easier, but the characters can get too powerful too quickly, and it makes the game like your characters become demigods, pretty quick. Like after 10 sessions of the games, your characters will become so powerful with all these, bonuses. But when you have a die rank instead with a dice, you have a potential of a 1 to 12 bonus. And so it makes the bell curve much wider as opposed to, you constantly getting this +10 every time you roll, or +12, and then you become too powerful. But if you get like a +4, and then you get this range of 1 to 12, then it makes your character, yeah. much more of a range. So that's why I have die ranks, and it is a difficult concept to grasp immediately, quickly. But once you do, it becomes this really fun mechanic that all the players seem to love. I was talking about, should we make it simple? Like, no, we love the die ranks because we all work together to get these high die ranks for different roles depending on what they're doing, and it incorporates now upgrading and engineering, for the sci-fi version. For the Dark Ages, it's a little simple. Like, you should keep it a little simpler as far as how you use it. But in prayer is a big one where they want to add a bunch of die ranks together. They get together, they want to be comfortable, they want a church, they want a corporate prayer. All of these things sort of add die ranks to the whoever's praying's role. Someone will pull out a Bible and start doing Psalms or whatever, so that'll add some die ranks to the role. And the higher roll they get, the better bonuses they get from it. So this right here shows how it works with a dice pool, and here's the die ranks. So obviously 5. Remember, the die ranks is a 5 divisible by 5. So 5 is D12. So if you go to 6, what if you're doing a higher die ranks? D12, D4 is what you get for your dice pool. So you get your D20 plus your trait, and then plus this dice pool right here. But the dice pool, keep the highest. D12, D4, keep the highest. So obviously 6 die ranks could be a little, nobody likes to do 6 die ranks because you get D12 and D4, but that's the game. But I've had someone roll a 3 here and a 4 here, and so we got the 4, so a little higher. So it does work. But, obviously when they go higher and higher, right, when they get to 10 die ranks, it's a D12, D12, keep the highest. So you get your trait, or you get a D20 roll for whatever it is, climbing a wall, plus your prowess, and then plus he's got super skills and blessed and climbing gear. All these things are like different die ranks. Climbing gear plus 2 die rank climbing gear is really... so the game is all about getting die ranks. I want to get, good die rank climbing gear. I want to get good die rank, whatever else, Bible and, fancy Bible or whatever. Whatever the thing is, you want to add these die ranks so that you get this D20 plus your trait plus this really high dice pool. And we've had players get up to 17, 18 based on all the different things that they, will gather together especially for stuff they do like in science, the upgrades and things like that. They really need high numbers to try to get the really super high tech things. But that's the die rank. It works for everything. It works for all the different mechanics of the game. It's just something you got to read. There's a couple pages there giving examples of how you use it. That's how it works. Okay, so that's die ranks. It's really about creating longevity in the characters, because we Christians we believe in characters having a long life, not a short life where they become a Hercules and then they die young and burn out their candle twice as fast. So here's another tool that I have where you put your trait in. Is this working? Let me close this and start this again, just because I had a couple of them open, so I may have messed it up. Put your trait. Why isn't this working? What? Oh, this thing is on. Let me close this one. Sorry, that's interesting. All right, 20 trait plus. Let's say plus 4. This guy's plus 4 prowess, and let's just say okay, he's swinging his spear there. So plus 4 spear, plus 2 die ranks. Right there, so that's a D6 right there, D6. Now he doesn't have anything, a holy or power die here. I got a little option here for if you have some, like a holy weapon or power, like a power die is like a power sword, power laser gun, that kind of thing. So then you roll. He rolls a plus 4 and a D6. Now there's no dice pool, but then you just roll and that's what you get. You're 14 plus 1 and plus this 4, so 15 plus this 4 for the, you don't see the side there. But anyway, oh, you didn't see the whole thing there. Darn it, it's a 14, and here's a 1. Oh, can I grab this thing? It's a 1 right here. Sorry, the screen's a little smaller. You drop, please? Okay, drop. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, he rolled that. That's what he rolled. Oh, let me just a little bigger here, screen. Let me do that again. I'm going to do, let's just say he does, I have a nun here. Let me see what she's got for prayer. Let's do a prayer. A prayer is an interesting thing. I want to show you how this works. She's trying to do a prayer for them to get, because what a prayer does is the higher the roll, the more inspired die or die ranks they get, inspired die ranks, so that they can use later on. It's like inspiration points. So let's just say she's going to do everything she can to do this prayer. So they're desperate. So she's only got 1 die rank in prayer. All right, let me use my little fun tool here. 1 die rank in prayer. Okay, she's got for her skill. She doesn't have blessings to get more die ranks because So a cleric could bless her and give her 5, 3, 2 die ranks. I bless you in this prayer. Here's 2 die ranks. Let's just say someone does that. Let's say there's 2 die ranks. Okay, 1, 2. She's in a church. It's a really fancy church, really nice, beautiful church. 2 die ranks. She does the prayer, and so I actually make the people do their prayers. Actually say the prayers. Like, kids, say your prayer. What's your prayer? And when she prays, if she talks about what they really are there for, what really good theology in the prayer, but simple. What the situation is, kind of gets all these sort of clear points across, simplistically and with brevity. I will give her like 1 or 2 die ranks, something like that. So let's say she does really good. I give her 2 die ranks for that. So she's got 7 now. So it's a D12, D6. Corporate prayer. They're together. All right, let me give her a die rank for that. Oh, she has Book of Psalms here, +2 to prayer. So this is like a magic item, but it's Book of Psalms. I mean, she pulls that out with a prayer and does the Psalms for the prayer in a really beautiful, Psalms. So there's 2 more die ranks. Okay, now that she's at D12, D12. She decides she's really desperate and she's going to add in. I don't know why she wrote this 3D or -1 here. I'll just say 3. Let's say she has 3 inspired die. She's like, I'm going to put it in because I'm desperate. 3. So look at that. 13 die ranks is a D, divided by 5 is 2 remainder 3. So D12, D12, and a D8. So that's what she wants to roll for her prayer, because they're desperately needing some inspired die for what's coming up. Whatever, it could be a confrontation, or that's pretty much what it's going to be. But they've even prayed over doing their upgrades, building things and stuff like that. So, okay, so there it is. Let's just do the roll. Okay, I closed that because it was a D12, D12, 8, D8. Yeah, okay. And this is simple enough. So she's got Spirit of 3, and a D12, a D12, and a D8. Now you could just roll this with regular dice, however you do. I just got this fun little tool here. I use like Copilot, ChatGPT, and Copilot to help me write this tool because I just wanted to mess around with that. And here we go. So the D20 is already included in this roll, but the D12, D12, D8, and you can see on the bottom right there what it's going to be. So she rolled. Ooh, see, she rolled a 15. That's kind of a choke. I mean, look, see, I can see. So this is the wonderful thing. She had for a GM, it's a wonderful thing. The players might be a little frustrated, but she had a potential to roll really high. But look at that, 8, 4, 1, 4. So she rolled kind of low. She rolled a 15. Now she needed to get above a 12 for prayer, 12 being the default. So she did, but only 13 above. And I halved that 1 die rank, 1.5. So 1 die rank. She got 1 die rank that she can now use for them, which was not that great. Think of the prayer. It was probably some uncomfortable prayer. They all are like, we got to go. Let's go. That's the description of this prayer, the way it unfolded. And, I'm trying to get across, too, the point that we Christians, we mess up. We're not sacred. In our striving for the Lord, we always make, we make mistakes. We mess up. Even in the best intentions, we will mess up. So that's these dice represent that in the way that you're using die ranks, and you can have this spread of success and failures. Think about if she had 13 die ranks, that equates to a plus 13. So think of if she rolls a D20 plus 13 plus her spirit, which is 3, so plus 16. So she's going to succeed at it no matter what. 16 plus a D20. That kind of makes it boring, and kind of makes it too overpowering too quickly when they get those high of die ranks. Whereas with this, there's still a nice range of success and fail. Generally, on average, she's going to roll higher. That bell curve is going to be higher, but there's a nice spread out like that, as opposed to that constant number, which is what I was trying to avoid. So I have players now who have played 40, 50 sessions or 70 sessions of a sci-fi series in For the Lord RPG, but a new player could come in and immediately be involved in the adventure with them. Like, they wouldn't have to fight demons and some demigods, at this point, with the characters being 10th level or 12th level, the veteran players. I don't have to do that. I can still bring minions and regular challenges to them that the beginning players can be productive in, or constructive in. I'm going to roll this again, just to show you kind of the range here. I'm assuming this next roll will be higher, so let's do that. It's it was a D20 plus 3, then a D12, D12, D8. Let's roll it again, just to show you like the possibilities of the. See, so 27, and this one is a little high, above average, medium roll. 14 and a 10. The 1 and 3 are discarded, so 14, 10 plus her spirit of 3, 27. Now, what does that mean for the prayer? It's they're going to be like, oh yeah. So 27, and this is just me using my fun little tool here, is calculating the die rank results. It's basically just subtraction and then halved, okay? And that turns out to 7.5. So she gets 7 die ranks that she can disperse amongst them as inspired die, that they can now feel, invigorated by this prayer and go out and do the immediate mission or confrontation or whatever they're dealing with. So it's like, think of Joan of Arc. She's inspiring everyone. She's got this incredible prayer ability that she inspires the soldiers around her to fight on. That's kind of like what this prayer thing is, how that direct result thing is. So in combat, it's just hit and miss, succeed and fail, and a lot of the skills are like that. But in some cases, GM's choice, or especially things that we know about prayer, healing, other things, it's this die rank result thing where, based on how high you roll, the difference of the difficulty in that success, half of that is die ranks, and you can use them in different ways based on the situation. And the GM can you can be a little, work it out kind of a thing. Like in divination, they'll do a divination, they'll get those die ranks, so let's just say 7 die ranks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, 7 die rank success? Wow. Okay, I have to answer 7 questions for your divination. As truthfully as I can as a GM. That's the divination, and that divination blessing is a rare one they can use once for a long period, of time. They can't just use it whenever, willy-nilly. Okay, so I hope I've explained die ranks to you. Again, I'm just doing it again on off the cuff, babbling on here to explain it. I know I got to do like a very good edited, succinct version to explain it all, but I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Okay, in the game of life, roll holy dice.